Most science fiction treats spaceships like fast fighter planes in a galactic war. In Star Trek, a starship operates as a massive, floating institution. These vessels are packed with science labs, medical departments, and diplomatic spaces, carrying entire communities and distinct cultural identities across the galaxy. The baseline for this design language started with Starfleet's Constitution class. By placing a wide saucer section up front and pushing the twin warp nacelles far away from the main hull, the designers created a silhouette that deliberately avoids looking like a weapon. The shape is clean and open, projecting an image of peaceful exploration. The most iconic version of this layout is the original USS Enterprise, registry NCC 1701. By separating the primary living space from the engines, the Enterprise cemented a visual standard that represented a highly organized crew working together. It became a recognized symbol of diplomacy, science, and a highly optimistic human future. Decades later, Starfleet evolved that baseline philosophy into the Galaxy class. With its massive, sweeping curves and an enormously expanded saucer section, this class operates as a moving city. It was built to house families, sprawling research facilities, and civilian populations, proving that Starfleet viewed deep space as a place to live, rather than a place to conquer. That classic Federation silhouette remains consistent because the culture that built it remains consistent. The wide saucers and bright hulls physically embody a civilization prioritizing long-term, peaceful discovery over conflict. Eventually, shifting galactic pressures forced Starfleet to adapt. The Sovereign class maintains the familiar saucer, but stretches it into a lower, sleeker profile. It shows an optimistic fleet hardening its architecture for a darker, more defensive era. For missions requiring total self-reliance, they built the Intrepid-class. It features a highly compact body and variable geometry nacelles, specifically engineered for long-range survival and scientific independence far away from the core fleet supply lines. Then there is the Defiant-class, a stark anomaly in the Starfleet roster. It strips away the elegant neck and sprawling saucer entirely, leaving a dense, heavily armored, muscular hull designed explicitly for combat. Starfleet also requires vessels that aren't glamorous flagships. The Miranda-class serves as the fleet's compact utilitarian workhorse, utilizing a flattened body and roll bar structure to execute routine border patrols, science assignments, and transport runs. To bridge the gap between their original exploratory cruisers and the modern heavy fleet, Starfleet relied on the Excelsior-class. Its elongated secondary hull provided a heavy-duty platform that kept it in active service across multiple generations. In later decades, the Akira-class emerged with a wide body, a catamaran-style hull, and an aggressive forward stance. It was structured specifically to act as a heavy fleet support and tactical platform. The Nebula-class takes the massive saucer of the Galaxy-class, but compresses the engineering hull and adds a distinct top-mounted pod. This allows the fleet to rapidly swap out equipment, remixing their baseline ship design for specialized scientific or command roles. Their ships feature long necks, wide wings, and heavy forward command pods. This predatory silhouette directly mirrors the Klingon warrior culture, functioning as a physical tool designed to intimidate opponents and force direct physical confrontation. The Romulans operate with a completely different approach. The Romulan Warbird is an enormous vessel, defined by a massive hollow center and sweeping, green, bird-like wings that dwarf standard Federation ships. Rather than brute force aggression, the Warbird is built to look quietly menacing. Its graceful scale and empty internal space project an image of a secretive, looming empire that commands immense, highly controlled power. Unlike the bright, open explorers of Starfleet, these imperial vessels are engineered to project specific types of cultural fear. They broadcast either immediate physical violence or hidden, overwhelming dominance before a single weapon is fired. Some threats reject traditional aesthetics entirely. The Borg Cube and Borg Sphere lack wings, bridges, nacelles, or any defined front direction. They are massive, featureless geometric blocks covered in mechanical surface details. This uniform design is an exact match for the Borg collective. Because they possess no individuality, their ships require no beauty. Mathematical function, cold efficiency, and the drive for total assimilation replace any need for art or elegant design. Similarly, the Cardassian Galor class utilizes harsh bronze coloring and a wide forward shape that narrows sharply at the rear. It creates a predatory, almost insect-like silhouette that perfectly mirrors their strict, authoritarian military state. The Dominion operates from the Gamma Quadrant, using distinct purple and gray hulls. Their battle cruisers and Jem'Hadar fighters feature smooth, organic curves ending in sharp, forward-focused points, expressing highly organized alien military efficiency. When a civilization strips away diplomacy and scientific curiosity, their starships reflect that void. They become unfeeling, strictly functional expressions of systemic control and absolute military order. Non-military vessels follow the same rule. The Ferengi Marauder features a warm gold and brown color palette and an unusual sweeping crescent shape. It visually stands apart from combat ships because it belongs to a culture built entirely on opportunistic commerce, treating the galaxy purely as a marketplace. Vulcan ships, meanwhile, employ mathematically balanced hulls and distinct ring-drive propulsion mechanics. Their clean lines are the physical manifestation of a society dedicated to absolute logic, scientific precision, and emotional restraint. Even on the micro level, compact, boxy shuttlecraft serve a vital purpose. These unglamorous, everyday utility vehicles handle the short-range transport and planetary landings that make the grand missions of the larger starships possible. This visual matrix shows how directly shape correlates to culture. The sweeping curves and detached engines of Starfleet explicitly signal exploration, while the predatory angles of the Klingon fleet announce a culture of honor and war. When we expand the grid, the elegant hollow wings of the Romulans represent their reliance on secrecy. Opposite them, the terrifying anti-design geometry of the Borg Cube proves their identity as a ruthless, mechanical collective. In the Star Trek universe, you rarely need to speak with an alien species to understand their intentions. You only need to look at their starships. A vessel's physical shape is the ultimate declaration of a civilization's philosophy.